take a look at this one. Its back windshield is shattered. There's a car seat in one of these vehicles. Now that car seat has a bullet hole in it. And you know, some of these residents who live here believe the overnight shooting was planned. The cameras on all the bridges capture very clear pictures. The resolution is even higher than our own broadcast cameras, and they're able to capture license plates as vehicles drive by. It's a narrow road, mostly surrounded by woods, but I want you to take a look to the left of me. It's a beautiful view of mountains, but below it's a different story. You'll see TVs, tires, trash, all dumped on the side of this road, and witnesses tell me something else was dumped here, the body of a black male. And I want to show you this, what we tried to show you earlier. This is the flooding underneath the Pink Pony Pub. Earlier, that was all sands. Now it is water. The video clearly shows him walking through the parking lot and rounding this corner, but where he went from here is unclear. It's why police need your help. Well, those who knew her are just hurting. When I walked inside that high school today, that hurt just written all over their faces. And today, many who loved her got a chance to write down their memories of the person who's no longer here.
Fairfield police spent this morning picking up dozens of shell casings at a housing complex located on 55th Place, just a block away from Miles College.
Investigators say a shootout between two groups damaged multiple vehicles. ABC 3340's Haley Westbrook joins us now live from the housing complex. And Haley, it's a wonder nobody was injured.
You know, it certainly is. These vehicles in front of me were in the line of fire overnight. Take a look at this one. Its back windshield is shattered. There's a car seat in one of these vehicles. Now that car seat has a bullet hole in it. And you know, some of these residents who live here believe the overnight shooting was planned.
We heard at least like 50 gunshots.
We didn't know where it came from.
I hear. Scared if a bullet gonna come through my window and hit one of my kids.
Bullet holes, broken glass, shell casings scattered across, leaving these residents with more questions than answers.
Kept hearing through the grapevine that it was going to be a shootout. We didn't know what time it was going to be or whatever. We just know to get the kids and, you know, get them in, or we didn't know what was going to happen.
No word whether anyone called police, but what happened soon after left quite a scene.
My back windshield is completely gone, and my front shield, it got a gunshot hole in there, but it still need to be replaced. I don't believe that the people who did the shooting was probably even from around here. They probably was from the other side, but they just want to resolve it over here.
We're told the shooters left here and went to the fire station a few blocks away. And back at the housing complex, residents wonder what's next.
Because they could have been someone's child they was shooting, and they could have shot at someone's apartment. They could have shot my baby.
Next time, you just never know. But, you know, I'm not gonna lose no sleep behind it, because I feel like God got me. If he protect me once, he'll protect me twice.
Now, the investigation is ongoing, but I do want to point out there is a police substation inside of this housing complex, but I'm told there was no police officer inside overnight. In Fairfield, Haley Westbrook, ABC 3340.
It's been 1 week since 59-year-old Randy Berry was hit and killed while working on an interstate construction project.
An 84-year-old driver struck him on I-459 near mile marker 11. Tonight, that driver is telling his story about what happened in those early morning hours. ABC 3340's Haley Westbrook joins us right now with more on this ABC 3340 exclusive.
Well, Dave and Brenda, Arnold Moore was driving northbound. He was on his way to work in Hoover. Now he says he writes and shares those writings with the Church of Christ. And Moore says it wasn't long until police questioned him that he realized he had killed someone.
It was the biggest shock of my life, and to think that a car that I was driving had killed a fellow human being.
Arnold Moore says that thought will haunt him the rest of his life.
Can you imagine killing a human being, but driving a car that's what was, I said, oh Lord, how could this be?
It was before 4 a.m. when Moore got in his car to head to work. He's kept an early morning routine for the last 12 years.
And I was driving along, and all at once something hit my windshield, and it almost stopped my car.
Moore says he did stop, but this damage prevented him from opening his door. He claims no one was in sight, so he drove to work.
I had finished my exercise program, and someone knocked on the door quite loudly, And I opened the door and there was 6 policemen standing at my door.
They questioned him, but he wasn't charged until this week.
He's charged because he left the scene of an accident where there was a serious injury, or in this case death, and the code says that thou shalt not do that.
The charge, leaving the scene of an accident, is a Class C felony.
If you could make the case that somebody got on the interstate and intentionally tried to kill somebody, then I guess there would be a different charge, but I don't know that that's the case.
Regardless of what caused it, I was still the driver in the car. But I don't feel like I'm guilty of anything except coming to my office early in the morning.
Now, the victim's family and friends do want more answers, and many of those will come out in court. Meanwhile, services have been set for Barry. His funeral is tomorrow at 11 a.m. in Coleman.
When you stay up at 4 and 5 days, weeks at a time on meth, you don't eat, you don't sleep.
The more I'd make, the more I'd use, and I wish I'd never learned how.
My front teeth are all fake. I've lost them from meth use.
It's a dangerous drug that can ruin lives.
There are more people out there using it, and naturally there are going to be more people out there selling it.
Crystal meth, it's one of 2 drugs that take up the majority of the caseload in Jefferson County.
Research has shown that basically once a person uses meth, life is never quite as good after meth as it was before meth unless you're on meth. And that's a very, very powerful psychological addiction.
The use has been on the rise for the past 6 years. Making the drug is now easier.
Now methamphetamine is being produced in the more rural areas, in subdivisions, in hotel rooms, even in cars as they drive down the road.
Just ask inmates at the Etowah County Detention Center. Some have struggled with meth addiction, and the 2 we talked with not surprised by the trend.
There's just so many people doing it now, and like I said, it's a social thing now that people get together and get high.
But with that high comes the low. Jerry Patton broke down when asked why he started using.
Friends that I thought was friends was bringing it to me. And today they're not friends. They was acquaintances, because they're people that got me started on this stuff and walked away. There's not one of them come put $1 on my book. There's not one of them wrote me. So they was just acquaintances.
The 53-year-old has been in and out of the system since 2009.
My oldest daughter turned 15, and my youngest daughter turned 13 this month, and I don't have a relationship with them.
This is Chris Cantrell's 2nd time here.
It's kind of like when I used the first time, it's kind of like I died, because, my family, I've not been there for my family, I had no life for them.
As they work to rebuild their lives, investigators crack down on the streets. State restrictions on pseudoephedrine, an ingredient used to make meth, have helped, but the battle is far from over.
Now what we're encountering is a crossover. Those that are using methamphetamine and staying up for several days at a time, for example, and then they may use heroin to come back down. So we have people that are combining methamphetamine use and heroin use, which is uniquely dangerous.
Reasons why drug busts across the county like these are critical in the crackdown on crystal meth. In Jefferson County, Haley Westbrook, ABC 3340.
For high school seniors, graduation, we know, is right around the corner. But for one McAdory High School student, the graduation came early. It was because of one final wish. ABC 3340's Haley Westbrook is in the newsroom with this story. Haley?
Pam, graduation for McAdory seniors is in 2 weeks, but for Jordan Mason, his was a surprise. It was Wednesday. That's because his principal, teachers, and friends wanted it that way, and so did his grandmother who raised him. And here's why.
My go-to person, run to, tell everything to. She just kept me going. She wouldn't let me give up.
For Jordan Mason, his grandmother Kathy was his whole world.
Strong, brave, she always encouraged others. She had a huge heart.
But that world changed when she was diagnosed with cancer. Wednesday, doctors said she had 3 days left to live.
So I started to go to my aunt's house. They were like, turn around, go get a white shirt. And I was like, all right. So I turned around and went and got a white shirt. As soon as I got there, I was like, what am I getting a white shirt for? They said, we're taking pictures. Went outside, I saw all my friends pull up, my principals, and I just started bawling in tears.
They were there for his graduation.
He stood by his grandmother's head, and so I read my statement, and just like in the graduation ceremony, this official shook hands, and then we made sure that she looked up and saw that.
And then when they left, something hit me and said, she's gonna go tonight.
And she did, dying just a few hours later.
Not many people have graduated in our family, and I told her I wasn't gonna give up on it, no matter what happened.
She actually lived to see him graduate. And I knew from being her friend for years and years and years that that was important to Kathy.
What does it mean to you to know that she got to see that?
Everything. Couldn't nobody change that.
And Mason plans on being a firefighter in Tuscaloosa, and he's planning to start school soon. In the newsroom, Haley Westbrook, ABC 3340.